Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves UGB here on FlossTube, but also on Instagram as well. Welcome along to the morning briefings. It's Sunday morning. This is going to be Sunday the 21st of March, and before I forget, happy birthday to my mum. It's her birthday tomorrow, and unfortunately we can't be together, but I'm always thinking about her, and no doubt we'll have had lots of conversations and stuff this weekend. It's that time of the week to settle down with a little brew and let's talk about some stitching. So this is my channel. It's a channel about cross stitching. If you've got this far and you're interested, then hang around. If you've never watched anything about cross stitching before, then you might learn something. You might find something that you enjoy. This week has been highs and lows. Highs and lows. I'm going to tell you that from the very beginning. Let me tell you about the general bit. So we went back to school this week with just year 11s, 12s and 13s, and I'd left quite a lot of the stuff that I needed to explain in person to this week, and I thought, yeah, no problem, I've got back in the classroom, I can talk to them, I can spend lots of time explaining what I need them to know. And I hadn't factored with this. Now, this is the new regulation mask that we have to wear all the time in school, even when you're teaching, even when you're trying to make yourself heard at the back of a classroom with 36 kids. This is what you have to wear. And when it first turned up, I thought, oh, that's okay. It's nice and soft. It actually looks more like underwear than a mask, but I thought, oh, that's nice and soft. And put it on, yeah, nice and breathable. That's okay. But what you could not tell from this mask is that actually once you get talking, it cling films itself to your face and you can't breathe. So I have to I say to the kids, right, I've got 4 minutes. I've got 4 minutes to tell you this, and then I'm going to have to stop and have a good few deep breaths, and then I might be able to carry on. And luckily I've got a little prep room out the back of my classroom, and I've got some water and stuff out there. So I sort of take a deep breath, do a big long spiel of stuff, and then go back in there, have a drink, compose myself and go back in again. I've said to the kids, look, if I go red or blue, please let me know, because I'm about to drop down. And then the other thing that's new this week, and if you've not seen these, this is what it is now, Wednesdays and Sunday nights, lateral flow tests. So these are one of these little tests that you have to do at home. So basically you have to tickle your tonsils a few times with a long swab, and then you put it up your nose and tickle your brain a few times with them, and then put it on, to all intents and purposes, what looks like a pregnancy test, but don't pee on it. And that's all fine. There is a fly in the ointment, however, which I have discovered and reading through the instructions. The instructions say that you have to take this test. You have to leave 30 minutes after eating before you take this test. And therein lies my problem. I don't think I've had 30 minutes between meals since last March. And so I came home from school on Wednesday with every intention of just sitting down and getting this test done. And I got in from school and I was like, oh, I'm starving, so I had something to eat. And then I thought, oh, I've got to wait another half an hour then. Well, there was tea time then, wasn't it? So we had tea time. I was like, right, I even said to Alexa, set a timer for 30 minutes. So we set a timer, and next thing I know, a bit of chocolate and a cup of tea in my hands. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to wait another 30 minutes now. But I can tell you that Mintero does not seem to affect these tests, so we're all right with that. We also had some very, very sad news this week as well. One of our colleagues passed away from cancer on Thursday. She was only 41, Larry, her name was, and very, very much loved. She was the heart and soul of the school, and yeah, it was a very, very sad day yesterday. Lots of tears from pupils and from staff. But like we are, small Welsh secondary school, no one cared about that. Then everyone was just there for everybody, constantly checking on how everyone's doing, and yeah, so I've got something in mind that I want to sort of stitch on her behalf, so I'll share that with you next week. Absolutely gorgeous lady, she really, really was. All sorts of trips and visits, like I said, the kids loved her, and it was a real blow to our school community to lose her, especially so young. So yeah, we're all thinking about her at the moment. Never mind all this silly stuff, we're all thinking about her. Right, let's have a look and see what I have been stitching this week. As I've said before, if you're hoping for continuity with these videos from one week to the next, sometimes just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, and this week it really didn't happen very much. But I do have 4 finishes and an FFO, so not all is lost. I'm going to show you my FFO now because she sat just here. Now obviously you will have seen her before as a finish, but I have framed her. This is Thirza Hudson by Whilst Iris Naps, and she stitched on 36 count Picture This plus vellum in similar colours. Some are called for, some were just my substitutions, mainly because my dye lot was a bit different to what how the picture looked, and I really liked the colours on the picture. And then I've just framed her in this kind of textured frame. If you stitch her on 36 count, then she fits in a 9x7 standard frame. So really pleased to get this one finished up this week. And then I think actually Christina is responsible for my week stitching this week, really, because she has released, and I bought it already so I might as well show you, she has released Florence May Piggin. Now she's been putting snapshots of this up for quite some time now, and I've been badgering her about it. Every time she puts something up, I love that, when's it coming out, when's it coming out? And of course it's a red sampler. And so I think in the back of my mind I was like, right, red, this is where I'm getting my red from. And so because this was only released on Saturday, so Saturday the 20th, yeah, so I only got my sticky mitts on it about 2 hours ago. I was just looking for some kind of red sampler, and so I just kind of started. There was a couple, sorry, I'm just trying to find somewhere to put this book again. There was a couple that I'd been wanting to stitch for quite a while, and I just sort of, right, okay, I'm going to stitch them now. So what I did is I picked a piece of fabric, and then I just seem to have stitched everything on it. So yeah, look, this is my piece of fabric. It's got 4 finishes on it, but this is my piece of fabric. So the first one, let's take them one by one, shall we? The first one that I stitched is that one at the bottom, Kind Words. And this is a, sorry, I know I whipped that away very quickly, but I will put it back in a minute. PDF download from Not a Forgotten Farm. It really only took a couple of hours, and I've stitched it in Silks for You red. It's quite a variegated red. I've stitched it in that, and I really like it. And I'm going to finish it just as a long thin pillow. So that was the first one I stitched, and then I still wasn't done with the red, and I was playing around with the red. So this one is the one that I went to next. Now I love this little sampler for one reason. Let me just tell you who it's by. Now you can, sorry, this is the state of my my little chart already. This is by Darling and Whimsy Designs. Got it on Etsy, and it's the HF 1916 sampler. Now on the face of it, it looks just like a little normal marking sampler, but this is what really attracted to me. The girl who was stitching it has made a mistake. She's got an an S and a T sort of cobbled together there, and she's just gone, nah, not frogging that, and carried on. So you've got OPQRS, then you've got a combination of an S and a T, and then you've got the rest of the alphabet going on there and the letters below. And I really enjoyed stitching this with this sort of sawtooth border, all in cross stitch. It's all 4 stitches, so you could easily do this on Ada if you fancied. This, I should say, actually is 36 count Tobias by Seraphim, and if you've ever had Picture This plus Ale, then it's a very similar fabric. I really like it. And I stitched that with a sulky thread. I'll just show you, if you didn't know, on Sulky Threads the end caps pop up, so if you want to secure your thread and not have it unwind, you can just rewind it and then click it back down again. Very, very handy. But I love this sulky thread, not silky thread. I love this sulky thread, and I'm very, very tempted actually to stitch Little Miss Piggin, because that's what I've called her now, Florence May Piggin from Whilst Iris Naps, using the sulky. This colour is 1147, sulky 1147. So that was my second finish. My third finish, I've had this little card for ages. Somebody who I bought something from on eBay sent it to me, and it's a picture of a Bristol sampler. In fact, it is Catherine Archer's Bristol Orphanage sampler, and on the back, I'm just going to hold it there, it's one of the ones that there's a little chart on the back, and what it is a little chart of some of the motifs that are on the sampler. And so I wanted to stitch it for a while, so I thought that would make just a nice little ornament or a little pillow finish, something like that. And I stitched that one with a Threadworks thread, Threadworks 10420, so a sort of a darker red. I think I was playing around with reds, knowing that I wanted to do, and I've been talking about a red sampler for a little while. So obviously I've got Little Miss Piggin to do, but I've also ordered from Needlework Press the 7 red alphabets as well, and I can't wait for that to come in. So I'm trying to work out what kind of floss I might want to do that in. And then my last finish, again, this is a little one that's been playing on my mind for a while. And this is a little freebie that I showed a couple of weeks ago from Pinker and Pumpkin blog. Halfway through, every time I'm halfway through that, I think I've got it this time, I'm not going to fluff it, and then I fluff it. Pinker and Pumpkin blogspot, Melissa, and she did this little sheep with some little shamrocks for St Patrick's Day. So that was just like a little evening stitch, and I actually stitched that in sulky as well. I've been on a bit of a sulky 36 count kick this week, so I've got a bit more finishing to add to the pile. 2 of them I've actually already got, maybe 3 of them actually, I've already got things to finish them with, and I think that one might just become a little pillow. I had ironed that before I brought it up, but I've managed to scrumple it all back up again. So that was my FFO and my 4 finishes. I did have a start as well, which I definitely haven't ironed because it's still in here. This is my Mother's Day start last week. Oh gosh, look. And this is Huckleberry Farm by the Blue Flower. I'm not going to take the chart out because I don't know if anybody else does this. I keep my chart in the envelope, and then what I do is I have the piece with the thread list on the back, and then I have the piece that I'm stitching on the front. So I'd have to ferret around and take the chart out to show you that one, but everybody knows what that one looks like. And this is on a piece of 38 count hand dyed fabric that I dyed, which you've all seen before. As I said, this was my Mother's Day start, with me frantically trying to smooth it out a bit. That's not too bad. And that's where I am. I'm getting some pretty big shadows here tonight because I'm filming much later than normal, because I did a couple of floss tubes earlier today as well, so just some little tutorials. I'll tell you about those in a minute if you haven't already seen them. So there's my start. Pretty much if it is all DMC so far, but I'm using the called for DMC and the fancy flosses. So I absolutely love that. I can't wait to do a bit more on that one. So yeah, I said I'd done a couple more floss tubes today. So yeah, this is going to be like a 3 floss tube weekend for me. You're going to be absolutely sick of the sight of me. Having said that, in the other 2 floss tubes, you only see my hands. So I said in one of them, I said, "Oh, you have to excuse my nails. I need a bit of a manicure." Like I've had a manicure any time in the last like 3 years. Things we say. So my first tutorial that I did was for making, and I've lost one of them somewhere along the line. Oh well. For making these little bobbin pins for going on the tops of pin cushions, for going on the tops of drums, things like that. So I had made those ones last week, and I'd said if anybody wanted a tutorial that I would do one. So I did a quick tutorial today. The tutorial's only about 17 minutes, and I think you can probably make these in like 5 minutes. So I made those 2 today. Is it going to focus? Let's see. So I made those 2 today, and I actually made a third one that's got a little toadstool bead on it, and I put it down somewhere and I can't find it. It'll turn up probably when it sticks in me. So there's those. So if you haven't already seen the tutorial for those, it's on my channel, so you can go and find that one. And then the other thing that I did was I did a tutorial for making these little floss minders. Now I've started calling them ring bling. I know that's really childish, but the ring bling. So I made one. You can go and look and see again. I think I made 5 of these in about 7 minutes. That one is from the Bee Skep. And some of these you might see why I've made them later on. That's a William Morris one. It's really hard to see without too much glare on it. And then I also made another William Morris one. I haven't hung on anything yet. And a little skeleton one. This is one of the Pineberry Lane samplers. This is Isabella Johnson, and again on the actual video you can see much better because my lighting at the moment, because it's dark, I've got just artificial light, so everything's bouncing off the glass. And then that one's easy to see if it's the right way up. This one is a little guy in a canoe with a polar bear. So if you want to know how to make those, really super simple, really super easy, very little in the way of equipment required, then you can do that. Go and have a look at those videos. Right, as I said, let's just have a quick check of see where we are. I've got my freebie to show you. Finally a farm girl, that's what I wanted to mention to you. So Chrissy, who is very active on Instagram, she's got lots and lots of followers on Instagram, has done a floss tube, and she's showing some amazing things. She's done 2 already. The first one was a really good introduction. She showed some beautiful things. She does a lot of Twin Peak primitive stuff, and she models stitches for them as well. And I was so pleased actually to see some more of the Twin Peak primitive things in the actual flesh, as it were, because lots of the charts that they release have just got like a digital mock-up of them, and you can't always see how beautiful the charts are, but some of the ones that she showed, oh my goodness me. And I've just started to watch the second one, so as soon as I get a chance I am going to be back watching her. So if you don't already follow her on Instagram or watch her, then she's a new floss tuber, but she's certainly not a new stitcher, and she's got a wealth of stuff. So finally a farm girl, Chrissy, go and see her. So what have I got left to do on my list? Freebie, little bit of haul, and then, as I said last week, I'm ready to show you my Stitch Mania plans. So yes, exciting. Freebie. I have got a brilliant freebie. I think it's a brilliant freebie anyway. It is from the Rainbow Gallery. And this is where I found it, on the Rainbow Gallery. But the charts are actually from Erica Michaels. And what there is a whole alphabet of specialty stitches. So there's a little sampler for each one. Now I'm going to give you a little bit more of a close-up of the A. So this is the A, so it's got lots and lots of A's. It's called A is for acorn and Algerian eyelet. So on this sampler, this little mini sampler, there's lots of different styles of A. There's acorns and then there's Algerian eyelets, and it tells you how to do each one. So if you wanted to expand your collection of specialty stitches, this would be a really good way of doing it. And also made by Michelle McGraw. Think about it, dough bowl, 26 little pillows. That could be amazing. Or you could just pick out ones just for a family member's initials and things like that. How lovely would that be? I'm just going to have a little sip of my tea. So I'll just go through really quickly what you've got here. So A is for acorns and Algerian eyelets. B is for butterfly and the butterfly stitch. C is for castle and the cashmere stitch. D is for daffodil and the diamond ray stitch. E is for elephant and the English stitch. F is for fox and the four-sided stitch. G is for goose and the Greek stitch. H is for house and home and the herringbone stitch. I is for ice cream and the Italian cross stitch. J is for jazz and the Jerusalem cross stitch. K is for key and the Kensington stitch. Very posh. I'll just have to check these on the floor now. L is for lamp and the Leviathan stitch. Did I read that right upside down? Yes, I did, Leviathan stitch. M is for mirror and the mosaic stitch. N is for nightingale and the Norwich stitch. O is for owl and the oblong rice stitch. P is for pineapple and the periwinkle stitch. What's a periwinkle stitch? Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a periwinkle stitch apparently. There we go. Every day's a school day. Quite literally, every day's a school day. Q is for queen and the queen stitch. R is for radish and the running stitch. S is for sheep and the spider web roses. Yeah. T is for tulip on a table and the tent stitch. U is for umbrella and the upright cross stitch. V is for valentine and the vertical elongated Smyrna stitch. W is for whale and the Williamsburg stitch. And then X, Y and Z are for X-ray, yo-yo and zipper and the X, Y and zigzag stitches. Now there was a chart that you could get to go with those, which basically allowed you to bind it as a book and all the instructions to bind the individual samplers as a book and the front cover. But from reading just a little bit about it, it seems to be out of print and quite hard to find. So there's certainly so many other things that you could do with those though. You could make a beautiful big sampler, big alphabet sampler, or like I say, just pick out some of the letters for the people in your family. That would be amazing. So yeah, I can't wait to do some of those. Right, haul. I have got a little bit of haul and it's in my basket down here. So what have I got? Oh, I'm going to just lift it up a minute. Right, what have I got? That's not haul. Neither's that. Right, first things first, Sulky. I bought these from Amazon. There are 10 Sulky threads in here, sort of spring colours, When I bought it, it was £13. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever been to Sulky website to actually see how much these petite spools are, but they're only actually about 90p. So I bought it from Amazon for two reasons. One, I had a voucher, and two, actually for 10 spools plus the postage, it really wasn't that much different. But yeah, if you go onto Amazon and you look at those Sulky packs, you know, where you get like the 6, I'll put that down because it's rattly, where you get like the 6 in a pack, and they're charging about £10–11 for them. That's so expensive really compared to Sulky. So definitely go and have a look on there. And if you've ever seen the bigger spools, have I still got one kicking around? Yeah. If you've ever seen the bigger spools on Amazon, a lot of them come from America and they're ridiculous prices, like £7–8 per spool. So this one I bought direct from Sulky. Just trying to see how long it is. 300 yards. It was about, I want to say £2.80, £3, something like that. So just be careful with buying Sulky from Amazon. Much cheaper usually to go back to Sulky. And it comes, they've got a European distributor, so it comes really, really quickly. What else did I buy? I bought these, a pair of butter paddles, bought them from eBay. I don't think there's any great age to them, but they are a bit darker than the usual butter paddles that you would find. So what I'm going to do is mount a bit of cross stitch onto them, and I'm thinking that I might mount my one of my ideas was my little Bristol sampler, and then the other one I thought I might use for my little sheep, and put a little bit of ribbon and bow and a shamrock and something else on there. But yeah, I just thought they were nice little butter paddles. And then I bought from Scalf Frames. Now, last week I told you about Scalf Frames because they did the frame for my spring welcome, and so I wanted a frame for the HF sampler for this one, and obviously it's a bit of a funny size, so I went back to Scalf and I ordered a frame from them. Now, I went to place the order several times and then thought, oh no, I'll wait. I don't know why, but then I decided no, I definitely am going to frame it. And so if you order before 11 o'clock, it gets delivered the next day. If you order after 11 o'clock, it's the day after. So this one came today. Now, it was my fault, but at some point when I was doing my ordering, it must have reverted back to their standard frame, which is just a plain black frame, and that wasn't quite the one I wanted. The one I wanted was a very dark brown with a bit of wear on it. And yeah, so all the times that I'd sort of gone to order it and then decided and changed my mind, oh, am I going to do this with it, am I going to do that with it, I must not have realised that I hadn't selected the frame type that I wanted. So what came in the post today was just a plain black frame. And I was like, it looked nice, but it was just a plain black frame. So what I did, you probably aren't necessarily going to be able to see, is I just got a bit of sandpaper and I just took a little bit of the black off, just to make it look a little bit more distressed. I'm really, really happy with it actually. It's not too different from what it was before. In fact, what it was before would have been a little bit more like this. So dark brown. This isn't a frame from them, but it's very similar to what I was looking for. Very dark brown with sort of lighter edges. So yeah, by the time I'd got the sandpaper out and just taking the edges off it. And it's great, if you're doing a bespoke frame from them, then you have the choice of putting glass in or not putting glass in. And because I've got hundreds of pieces of glass kicking around from frames that I've taken glass out of, it's a real joy to just put no glass. So that came today. And then I had my Mother's Day presents. So I had some chocolate, which is very tasty, and some hyacinths, which are very nice. They're about the only thing that's saving my living room at the moment because the dog seems to have been set to turbo fart all day. Anyway, I digress. This is what I had for my Mother's Day from Priscilla Blaine, Stitching with the Housewives, and this is very much inspired again by made by Michelle McGraw. So I'd asked for the carrot one, which is the one that she did, and then I got as well the radish one, and also the cabbage one. There's the cabbage one. There's the cabbage one, and also the cabbage one. And we got them from Fat Quarter Shop. Obviously I had to sort of have a little poke in the right direction, you know, put the website on his phone, that sort of thing. Now the reason I bought them from Fat Quarter Shop rather than Etsy is they are actually cheaper on the Fat Quarter Shop. They're about 50p per chart cheaper on the Fat Quarter Shop than they are on Etsy, just because I don't know what Etsy do with their taxes and their charges and stuff like that. But I don't know if you've ever bought PDFs from them. It says one price and then you go to buy it and it says something else. Well, the one on Fat Quarter Shop, as I said, they worked out about 50p per chart cheaper than Etsy. So it's definitely worth going and having a look. They've got lots of Cherry Hill Stitchery. They've got lots and lots of PDFs on there, so it's always worth checking out to see whether the one you want is on there, because it's probably cheaper. And then there was also a freebie chart from Stitching with the Housewives that came with the order, and it's called Bunny Love. So hopefully you can see at least the outline of what that one is, which is a really cute little one. I'd not seen it before. So, and then my last bit of haul, this is actually due to the Lancashire Stitcher. Now I've always been aware of this chart, but what I wasn't aware of was that I wanted to stitch it. And it's this one, One Nation by Bygone Stitches, and I was really pleased to find that this was a PDF as well. So this was a PDF that I did get on Etsy. It was through one of the bigger shops, and I can't remember which one it was. Somebody like Needle Case Goodies, or who's the other one? I can't remember, but if you type this in, it comes up anyway as a PDF. And I'm sure you've seen it all before. It's got the names of all the states in the shape of the flag. Now I've never been to the States. We had a trip booked to go to New York, but that was at the time when I unfortunately had the miscarriage, and so we couldn't go. But it made me think, well, why do I really want to stitch this? And obviously her stitching is beautiful. This flag looks amazing, and it was because when I was in my own GCSE year, one of the things that I used to do in like really boring French lessons, I used to just sit at the back of my book and try and write down all 50 states, because I was just like, can I remember all 50 of them? And so I honestly think that's where it's come from. But I think this would look fabulous hanging up, framed up anywhere, or even done as like a soft finish. So yeah, I really want to stitch that too. It's pretty big, it's something like 400 stitches wide. So it's 400 by 210. So yeah, really want to get on and get that started, along with about a billion other things. Okie dokie, right, Stitch Mania. I'm going to share my Stitch Mania plans with you after I've had a sip of tea. So, Stitch Mania. I've done Monogamania before. Last year I did Button Mania, where I started projects that just had buttons on them, which is why I came to do a lot of Puntini and absolutely love Puntini. And I did that. What I did was I did whips in the week and new starts at the weekend. So I think that year there was 5 weekends in May, and so I started 5 things. Now I've been wanting to do a bit more of a big start thing, but I wasn't up for doing 21 starts or 31 starts or anything like that. I thought that was a bit too much, even just smalls, just because of like fettling so many projects. And for a long time I have really loved the way that Brenda, the handwork maniac, deals with her Mania projects. And what she does is the Mania projects that she has are then assigned to a certain month, so that any project she starts, she's then got a plan of when she's actually going to work on it. Because I don't mind starting lots of things, but I don't want them to just like sort of fritter around in the ether. I don't want them to just sort of be started and then woof, that's it. I want to have a plan for them. So what I've done is I've chosen 12 sampler starts, and they're all on the smaller side. There's nothing ginormous in there. And then I've assigned each of those sampler starts to a month, and that's going to be my focus project for that month. So I'm still in the organisation stages. I've picked them out, and if you follow me on Instagram you will have seen a lovely big thread delivery that I had the other day. I bought a load of DMC, and I bought a load of Gentle Arts as well, and a few weeks ago it's mostly Gentle Arts. So I bought my DMC from Wool Warehouse, just because I found with Wool Warehouse they seem to carry a bigger stock. So if you've got a lot to buy, you're more likely to get most of them, I've found. It may be different now that sort of supply is a bit better than it was, but that's where I bought mine from, and I bought my other threads from Peakside. So what I've got is 12 projects in 12 envelopes, and I went online and I've printed out a calendar as well, so you can just see that one peeking through, so that I know which project is assigned to which month. So what I'll do is I'll go through the projects and I'll tell you what I've chosen. I haven't really picked out any fabric yet, so these are, I'm just going to show you the project. A lot of them have got the majority of the threads with them, I would say. So this one is May. How nice are these calendars? Freebie print, so I will share the link for those. And obviously May is going to be Agnes Platt, but I'm doing the B-skep, and I say we're doing the B-skep actually because Icky Noodle Stitching and I are starting this on the 1st of May, and as part of the Blackbird weekend with Brenda and the Zero Starter, but also this is going to be my first Mania project. I am thinking about starting the little pin keep there because there's a couple of strawberry things going on at the moment. Let me get this right. So Crafty Cottage Stitchers are doing something called the Strawberry Social, which is hashtag Strawberry Social, which I'll put that down below. So that's anything to do with strawberries. And also Merrick Crawford, who is So Just Because, and Stitchuation Normal are doing something called the Strawberry Picking 21 Sal, which was started yesterday, the 20th of March, and again, it's anything to do with strawberries. So I'll put those details down below, and you can check out if you're working on anything to do with strawberries or you want to start something on strawberries, then that's where you need to head. So that's May. I'm going to pop these back just as I go, otherwise I'm going to get into a right faff. Okay, so that's May. June. So obviously I'm going to be starting all of these in May. My plan is to give each of them either 2 or 3 days. Obviously 3 days, 3 lots of 12, 36, going to take me into June. So my plan, I'm not quite sure whether I want to do that yet, but my plan is to give each one 2 or 3 days. This is my second one. So this is June. Again, there's the calendar for June. And this one is Heaven Above by Midsummer Night Designs. Now, there's not much point me taking that out of the bag because it's a proper photo, so it's going to be glary anyway. But hopefully you can see that. So I picked that one for June because Midsummer Night in June. I won't do all the zips just so as not to annoy. July. Obviously by July we're going to be looking at Christmas in July. So I have picked this one, which always looks kind of Christmassy to me, which is Mary Betchel by the Scarlet House. This is the one that I've got least threads for actually. I think I'm going to do a bit of converting on this one to threads that I've already got. So that's July, and that's the calendar. August is going to be the one that I showed you from Marjorie Massey not so long ago, when This You See Remember Me, because my dad's birthday was in August, so there's that one. That is going to be my August. I'm going to be doing that one in red. It's shown there in blue, but I'm going to be doing it in red. And so there's my August calendar. So obviously the idea is I can tick off on my calendar when I'm working on things for that month. I keep a big spreadsheet anyway, but I can tick off. September. There's September. Now this one is gorgeous. This is by Sheepish Designs and it's called the Hedgehog Sampler. And the last time I showed this, everyone went a bit mad for it when I showed it as haul. Look at that hedgehog and that rabbit. How cool is that? So this would be my, I would start this in May obviously, and then this would be my September focus piece. October, you've already had a little sneak peek of October if you were looking at my wingling. And there's October, and this is, I'll just wave it around like the Blair Witch Project, make you all feel sick. This is Rising Harvest by Pineberry Lane, so I thought that was a nice autumny project to do. I thought it'd be quite hard to pick out the ones that I wanted to do, and it was not because I was short of samplers, but because I just had so many to choose from, so many that I wanted to do. November, I'm going to have to apologise to people about this one. This is November, and Sally Spencer. So I've had this in my stash for a while, but yeah, I really want to do Sally Spencer. So I've started to get the threads for her as well. A couple of them I've not been able to get hold of, but I might just end up substituting them. I know one of them's Leatherin, another one I can't say, Brethren Blue. December. I did think about doing Mary Betchel for December, but I changed my mind. That's December, and it is going to be All Joys for Thine, which I think is not Christmassy, but I think it's a sort of a festive, it could be a festive one, it might be a nice Christmas one to do. And again, it's really not very big. So that's December. So I'll have a couple of days in May and then a focus piece in December. January. Now you're going to have to forgive me here because for some reason all I can find is my working copy of this one. I can't find my original copy. January is Needlework Press, All Things Exceedingly Diligent. In All Things Be Exceedingly Diligent. And I've got the DMC for this one, but I think I might make some substitutions. There's a couple of the colours there that aren't quite what I want. February. Okay, this is a good one. February. There's my calendar for February. And this one. So this one is a kit that I picked up from Chris at the Nimble Thimble, and it's the Drawn Thread Stars. So I've got everything for this one, and I'll show you all of that when the time comes. So 2 more to go. March is going to be another one that you've seen on my Ring bling. Don't Google ring bling. You might get more than you bargain for. There's March. And it's the Isabella Johnson sampler. And I'm doing that in the DMC, which I've got all of, which looks lovely. There's always one that won't go back in the bag, isn't there? And very lastly, April. And this is one that I've had again in my stash for ages. It's not out of print, but so there's April. And it's this one, Carriage House Samplings Matter's Choice. Now I'm in two minds what to do with this one. Every time I've ever looked at this sampler, I've always imagined it dark blue here and then yellow at the top, like a lighthouse. And I don't know whether that's a crazy idea or whether I should do it. So like a dark blue and then like a dark kind of gold, not a bright brassy gaudy yellow, but a sort of a dark gold. I don't know. I've always, in my mind's eye, that's how I've always seen that sampler. So I may do. So those are my Stitch Mania plans. I think I'm pretty set on those, actually. I'm really looking forward to getting through all those samplers, or getting to all of those samplers. They're all quite small. There's nothing, as I said, there's no great leviathans there of the Stitchy world. So yeah, we shall see. I'm just not sure how I'm going to handle just being able to do like 2 or 3 days on each one to begin with. But we shall see. That's what Stitch Mania is all about. That is it from me. I hope you've enjoyed your Sunday morning, and I hope you enjoy the tutorials for the bobbin pins and for the ring bling. I'm gonna have to, floss minder, Michelle, not ring bling. So there we go. Oh, that reminds me, just one thing before I go. This is my newest blackboard purchases, and I think I said a couple of videos ago that I was worried about the fact that the blackboard seemed to be coming out a little bit more variegated. This is some of the newest stuff that's come in to Patchwork Rabbit, and it's back to being very, very similar to how it was before. So I think that Anne Grimshaw could be back to being on blackboard. So that's another one to get started. Start all the things, you might as well. Stay classy, Stitchers.